What's up guys, Adam from T Exotics, welcome to the video. As the title suggests, it's going to be a run through on small things you should look out for when you're purchasing a snake from a show or from anywhere for that matter. With the Doncaster Reptile Show coming up in a couple of weeks here in the UK, biggest show of the year. In my opinion, this is the one where you're going to have lots of babies available. And it's going to be quite busy. So when you have the early shows, you're not going to quite have the babies available, and maybe at the end of the show or the end of the year, sorry, a lot of babies have already been sold, and you won't have as much variety. So to me, the June show at Doncaster in the UK is the biggest show of the year. So we're going to go talk through a few things that you need to look out for if you're going there and buying a snake, or even if you're just going to someone's house and buying a snake. So the number one thing is you've got to make sure that breeder is a reputable breeder. They've got a good history of selling snakes successfully to people with good feedback. If you look up a breeder online and they've got nothing but negative feedback, it's probably someone you're going to want to stay clear of. But that being said guys, even the breeders that are most known, the reputable ones, the ones that you see on YouTube, the ones that you see on Instagram, the ones that you see on Facebook, or whatever it may be, they had to start somewhere, right? At one time they were an unknown breeder with no history, but people got to take that plunge to buy off them so they can get that sort of history and that rapport going. So keep that in mind as well. Just because you might not have heard of them doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad breeder or their snakes aren't going to be in tip-top condition. But for the most part, if you're going to a show looking for a snake, you're going to want to look for someone who's well known in the hobby. When it comes to the snake, so you go to the show, you see their table, whether it's a breeder you know or a breeder that you don't know, you're looking at that snake you see. The first thing you want to go and do is give it an overall inspection. So the breeder, if you're really serious about it and you really want to inquire about an animal, the breeder should have no problem taking that animal out and letting you inspect it. You're going to look for a few things guys. The overall condition, you're going to want to ask how old the snake is, because you want to judge whether the age of that animal is consistent with the size and the girth of that animal. If an animal's a year old, you're going to want to know why it's only 200 grams or 300 grams. Little things like that. So you want to inspect the animal, you want to feel it in your hand, you want to basically just give it a head to tail inspection. You want to make sure that there's no retained eye caps, stuck shed, things like that. You want to make sure that there's no visible mouth rot. There's only so many things we can check. We can't obviously check inside the animal for any internal parasites. That's where quarantine comes in down the road. But while you're at the table, you're at the show, you've got the animal in your hand, you want to make sure there's no visible mouth rot, no wheezing of the animal, no bubbling from the animal. If you've got an animal that's bubbling, that's pretty severe sign of a respiratory infection. They usually start with the wheezing. If it's prolonged, if it's left alone and it gets to sort of get to the stage where they're bubbling, that's an infection that's been left untreated. It's quite a severe case when they come to bubbling. So you want to make sure that the mouth looks fine. Don't be afraid to gently lift the lip and just look inside the mouth, or ask the breeder to show you the inside of the mouth. It's not a hard thing to do. You can just lift the lip up and you can see the inside. You look at the vent of the animal. Make sure it's a nice clear vent. You don't want a crusty looking vent. It should look completely clear. No signs of the hemipenes or the cloaca sticking out, prolapse or anything like that. You want to make sure you look at the belly of that snake, run your finger along, and it's the same from the neck all the way down to the tail. You want to make sure that there's nothing really visible sticking out at you. And while you're doing that, you're going to check for mites. Unfortunately, I've seen it in my with my own eyes. You do get vendors at the shows selling animals with mites. Maybe it's an animal they've seen and they just want to get rid of it quick. They don't want to spend the money or the time in trying to eradicate those mites, and unfortunately it does happen. I remember seeing some retics at the show, big retics, and they were crawling with mites. I reported it to one of the vets, and unfortunately the vets didn't want to do anything about it, as it would turn out. But make sure you're checking for mites. Make sure you're using hand sanitizer every time you go to a table. You don't want to be getting mites or any other bad nasties on your hands and then going to people's tables, because you're not going to want to start, you know, just holding snakes for the sake of holding it. A good breeder will only really let you hold the snake if they feel that you're interested in that snake. They're not there to just let people hold snakes, you know, left, right and centre. That's not what it's about. It's not actually allowed, I believe, at the Doncaster show. You're only supposed to handle snakes that you're interested in buying. It's not to say that you ask to hold a snake, you know, you don't like it or you change your mind, you can give it back. That's absolutely allowed. But you know, window shopping is not really allowed when you're going to table just wanting to hold snakes and take pictures and things like that. That's not what you're putting everyone else at risk. Everyone has animals at risk. So you know, you're not going to want to do that. But you know, make sure you're washing your hands. Every table is a requirement to have some hand sanitizer. If there's none on the table, you want to ask for some. And if there's none there, they don't have any to offer, report it. It might sound petty, but all these little things will add up. You know, to a successful show, to a successful encounter with a table. If you decide to buy a snake, you're going to want to know what it's been feeding on. You're going to want to know if there's a feeding chart. And yeah, feeding charts can be fabricated and lied, but it's better to have one and trust it than not have one and wonder why. So you're going to want to know what it's feeding. What's it kept in? What's the breeder been keeping it in? Have they been keeping it in racks? Because 9 times out of 10, you know, breeders do keep their royals in racks. But it's been kept in a vivarium. Is it a 33 litre rub? Is it a V70 rub? Is it a smaller one? So you can best replicate what it's gone through its whole life when you get it home to your collection, because obviously they're notorious for being picky feeders. Stress is a massive thing in royals or in ball pythons, so you want to limit the stress as possible. It's going to be stressful from the breeder's home, taking it to the show, being on a table with all these eyes and fingers and people holding it, being put in a bag or a box, being taken in your car, you know, an hour down the road, 3 hours down the road, and then being put in a complete different surroundings. We can't avoid that, that's just part of it. But if you can replicate what it's used to, that might give you a head start. If it's been kept in a rack and you go home and put it in a massive viv, we're going to have a problem straight away, and that's not something that you're going to want to experience, because it can be very stressful when these animals don't eat. Not the end of the world, because these are the type of animal that can go a long time without feeding, but it's not something you want to encourage, especially if it's a young snake, you know, a young animal. It's not something you want to promote. So try and ask as many questions as you can. If they're reluctant to answer the questions, then you walk away. As a reputable breeder, they shouldn't have any problems answering any question you might have, from the parents to what else was in the clutch to, you know, baby's weight and things like that. They should be able to tell you all of that. And if they can answer all those questions, then you know they're a good enough breeder to purchase from. They've spent the time, they've raised that animal, they've done it in my eyes the correct way. You know, they've kept records and they've done this, they've done that. That's a good place to buy from. You go to a table and they can't tell you what the parents were, they can't tell you, you know, the hatch date, they can't provide you a feeding record. That would raise alarm bells with me, and I'd honestly walk away. You know, that's just me. I have a table booked at the September show. And I'll make sure I have all that. I'll have feeding records, you know, I'll have a history of the animal, of the parents, and this and the other. So you guys can ask me anything you like, and I will make sure I'm as fully prepared as possible to give you the answers that you might want to know. It's also the same if you're buying online. If you're buying from these sites like Pre-Loved or Gumtree or any sort of site like that, and you're going to someone's house to collect it, when you get to that house, you're going to want to ask the exact same questions. Just because they're not at a show and at a table doesn't mean the same rules don't apply. They should be able to at least show you or tell you what they've been feeding on, how they're housed, the frequency of feeding, has it had any health issues, is it eating currently, is it off feed, things like that. So you know, when people let you into their home, to me that's a good thing, because the trust is right there. You know where they live. They're not going to want to invite strangers to their house to pick up a snake, and then that snake turn out being unwell or not eating or really small and skinny and malnutrition. It's not something that they tend to do. If I invite someone to my house, I'm going to want to make sure they leave happy. I don't want people knowing where I live and what I've got in my collection, if I'm going to potentially upset that person and then want to, you know, get revenge or teach me a lesson for selling them a duff animal. So in my eyes, going to people's houses is a good thing, for the breeder as well as the seller. What I would be concerned about, and it doesn't really happen much in the UK, is if you buy a snake online and you get it shipped to your door, or couriered, unless that's from a very reputable person. But if it's just from someone you see online selling a snake, and it's a really good deal, and they courier it to your door, you have no idea where that snake's come from. If they're not a reputable breeder, you have no idea. You're taking their word as gospel. They're the type of people, guys, that you want to try and avoid. They might be the cheapest, but we all know the cheapest isn't the best. If a price is probably too good to be true to reflect that animal, it probably is, and you don't want to go there. Please take my word for it. I was stung by a similar sort of scenario. And you have no way to track it back. You know, you have a phone number which can be easily changed, right? You have a pre-loved account or a Gumtree account which can be easily changed or taken down and a new one started. So please stay away, if you can, from sites like that offer you, you know, courier to your door. You want to go and see the snake, guys. You don't want to buy a snake if it's from an unknown breeder. Let's get that out there. If you're buying from someone really well known in the UK, and I'm just talking about UK here, then I'm sure it's absolutely fine, because that's their reputation. They've got their reputation out there. They've got all the positive feedback. They're not going to want to risk losing their reputation, or the reputation being tarnished by a customer getting a snake that's, you know, not eating very well, skinny, too small for its age, and things like that. It's not something a reputable breeder would want to do. Hence why you should always go for that breeder that's known. But also bear in mind, the reputable breeders have got to start somewhere, even if they're just coming in. This might be their first, you know, season. Doesn't mean their animals are any less looked after than mine or anyone else that's doing this. With me, that's why YouTube's such a good tool, and Instagram. People like us, you know, we post our animals, we film our animals, we film what's hatching, we do the egg cutting, you see the parents, you see the whole breeding process. So that's a video diary of the history of that animal. For example, just because it's the closest one to me, for example, this little leopard, female leopard, she's just a straight leopard. If you decided to purchase her, you can see her hatching, you can see you know, the egg cutting, you can see the parents, you can see her siblings, all through YouTube, all through my channel. That's a great way to know the history of an animal, and know it's true. Know that, you know, if I didn't do YouTube, I could say, yeah, this animal is a female leopard, double het pied clown, 50% hexantic, possible het albino. Yeah. This way, you know that's not true. So whoever claimed that, you can call me out on it. But there's proof in the pudding of what I'm producing through YouTube and through Instagram. So if someone's you know, well known on, you know, on YouTube and Instagram or Facebook or any other social media, and they've got a following, then you can usually trust those sort of people. You can trust me. So guys, that's just a quick overall. You know, I'm getting excited about the show now, so I thought I'd do a quick video, just sort of advising you guys what to look out for if you're going to the shows and buying animals, and parting with your hard-earned cash, because some of these animals aren't cheap, but everything else should be the same, from the care to the condition to the rules apply to whatever animal it is, however much they cost. Going on to Doncaster, I mentioned in my last video that I might do a few queuing interviews. A few people, you know, are really down for that, so I'm definitely going to be doing that, guys. So if you see me in the queue, I'll have the camera with me. It's not going to be a formal interview, it's just going to be a quick chat, you know, introduce yourself, what you're looking to pick up, or what you're looking to sell there, using the exchange room and things like that. And just a quick informal little chat with a few people, just to make a nice cool little video of the day. I think that would be really awesome. a few of you have already said that you're going to be up for that, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. That'd be really cool. Again, the 1200 subscriber giveaway, guys, still a way off that, which is cool. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. If you haven't liked the video, please hit that like button and the notification bell. It really does mean the world to me. Watching the channel grow, and where it was, you know, a few months ago to now is absolutely mind-blowing. It's really extraordinary, and I hope to have, you know, the channel growing and growing in the future. So tomorrow, being Sunday, I'm going to be down at Eddie's at Sunbury Serpents, and we're going to go through his collection. We're going to ask him a few questions. So if you've got any questions that you want me to ask Eddie from Sunbury Serpents, obviously I'll put his details down below so you can check him out, look at his collection. If you've got any questions on his collection, let me know and I'll make sure I ask them tomorrow. Hopefully, if I get back in time, the video will be uploaded tomorrow afternoon. Failing that, it'll be uploaded on Monday for definite. So definitely look out for that, because I'm really looking forward to that. I've been waiting so long for our diaries to match and for me to be able to get into his room, look at his collection, and pick his brains about a few things. Really looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. Guys, thanks for watching. As ever, thanks for your support. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Watch out for that video tomorrow or Monday morning. Until next time, guys, thanks for your support, and I'll see you soon.